Morgan here for Management News Team at 9. Topic of the day, managing organizational change. Our first story is on a small car sales business in nearby Tuscola. Undercover reporter John Beer went into this business, Premier Automotives, to see how they're handling some upcoming changes to their record-keeping system. Let's go to John and see how things are going.
Good morning, everyone. As many of you may have heard, we are planning on changing our record-keeping systems to paperless. The reason we are doing this is because it will be a lot more time efficient and save money on unneeded paper. All of you need to be prepared to make this switch by a week from tomorrow. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, that's all. Go get them.
Can you believe this old man wants to change our record-keeping system? As if we weren't already struggling enough.
He doesn't have to worry about that because of his position.
That old man's off his rocker.
I'm over it. Want to get some lunch?
Yeah.
You're buying. Hey guys, how are things going with the new software system? Do you understand it?
No, you haven't even shown us how to use it yet.
Well, I was expecting you guys to be able to figure that out on your own. That is what I pay you for. Can you maybe show us how we're supposed to use it? No, if I can't figure it out, I'll find someone that can.
What an asshole.
Thrilling stuff. Looks like things aren't going too great over there at Premier. So let's take a look at how another local business has handled change in their organization. Eric Selstad, the CFO of First Federal Savings and Loan here in Charleston, has experienced firsthand the challenges of managing change. So we asked him to give us some insight.
Based on your experience, what would you say are the best strategies for approaching that?
Well, I would say that this is the second time that I've had to do managerial change associated with the financial institution. And I think the first thing that you have to do is you have to really convince the employees of why you need to change. And once you convince them that, hey, this change is really a good thing, it's not only it's good for them, but it's going to be good for the customers. As long as you can convince the employees and you get people kind of on board, then I think you're in good shape. If you can't do that, then I think it's a tough road. So that's probably the most important thing is you got to convince them, hey, why do I need to go through pain, and is there going to be some kind of benefit at the end? So.
Okay, you mentioned some change that's happened recently with First Federal. Initially, when Charleston Federal and First Federal merged, what were some of the problems that you encountered?
I think that initially, I can tell you this story. I think when Tad, the CEO, came to Charleston and announced that, in fact, there was a merger, we had several employees that burst out into tears because I think that, when people hear merger, I think a lot of times people immediately assume that there are going to be cuts. And, that's, I think that was the biggest thing. But once, that people realized that wasn't going to happen, I think that things became a lot, we're a lot better. So,
were customers affected at all by the merger?
And initially, the customers they were not affected because in this particular case, Charleston Federal and Shelbyville were actually operating in two different systems. So we basically said, yes, we're merging together to be one cohesive financial institution, but we were not at a point where we could we couldn't do anything that really warranted any kind of disruption to the customers because we were running two different really core banking systems. So in that sense, we merged in 2008, but they weren't really going to see any kind of disruption until December of this year.
That brings us to our next issue with the institution is bringing on a new core system for all three branches to operate on, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Have you had any employees resistant to learning new technology?
I don't. Right now, we are just beginning to get into the process of trying to train the employees. And so far, once again, we're trying to do as much communication with the employees. We're trying to let them know, hey, that this is going to be better overall. And there are a lot of distinct features with the new system that I believe are going to help the employees to be able to do their jobs faster, more efficiently. There's a lot of redundancy that's going to be kind of cut out, and I think it'll make, for most of the employees, they're going to be learning some new job skills, and I think it's going to, I think it's going to make things more interesting. I don't know at this point that I personally haven't heard any resistance, but I think that one of the reasons is that we've been communicating the fact that small institutions, 50 million and below, are going to have a tough time surviving in this regulatory environment, and so I think everybody knows that. So I think that sometimes a little bit of fear in knowing, hey, it's better that two financial institutions merge and we have to do a little bit of training than maybe this financial institution being gobbled up by one of the bigger banks. So
how are you preparing employees for the new core system?
Well, what we're doing, we've tried to communicate as much as we can. We're doing a monthly meeting at both locations, both main locations, and when we can, we have the third location as Windsor, which it's more of a startup, and we kind of fill them in when we're driving to and from the branches. We're communicating. We're setting up training. We're going to try to get as much training in as possible. I think that's the goal or the strategy that we're trying to take, is to try to get as much training and let people see, get familiar. And I know that I sat in one of the training sessions with a couple people from here. And one of the things that they kept mentioning was, hey, the system's very similar to what we have. And I think when they start to see it, they start to become a little bit more comfortable, because there's nothing, people, I think, often become afraid of the unknown. And when they start to see something and they realize, hey, this isn't so bad, then I think that their confidence level starts to go up. So
do you expect the transition to go pretty smoothly?
I'm hoping that it goes smoothly. I mean, we're the project manager for the company that is going to roll out the new core system. They're implementing basically a project management methodology, so to speak, where you've got all the key players involved, and we have weekly meetings, and there are tasks that everybody has to get accomplished, and I think that we're getting things done. I think that for the most part that the customers are probably not going to see as much impact as the actual employees, but I think that we're doing as much as we can at this point.
Have you been communicating with customers about the upcoming changes?
We are in the process right now, and we've been over the last week. We've been trying to formalize a letter that's going to go out to the customers to basically detail where there are going to be changes within the core system where it may possibly impact them. So, and we're going to be available to. We're going to do the communication through the mail, a separate mailing. We're going to make some changes to the website. And then we're going to call customers to ensure that they, to make sure that they understand what's happening, so that they have all the information that they need. And if necessary, we may put something in the paper as well.
Okay, thank you very much for your time.
All right, thank you.
Informative. After a short break, we'll take another look over at Premier Automobiles, who brought in training specialist Eugene Wilson to assist employees in their transition to their new software. Stay tuned. You think that got it together?
Welcome back, folks. Bill here, filling in for recently let go lead anchor Morgan. Let's get back to the field for some more undercover footage from Premier Autos.
Okay, good morning everyone. My name is Eugene and I'm a training specialist with your new software. And I'm here to help you guys through the process as quickly and efficiently as possible. So as we go, let me know if you have any questions and hopefully we'll all learn a lot today.
I wish that old man would have set up some training for us from the beginning.
Yeah, this is really going to help our business succeed. I'm glad he finally came around.
Outstanding. It's nice to see a local business effectively change their company for the better. All right, folks, that's all for today's Management News at 9. And as always, stay sober, Charleston.